15 Amish gardening secrets that keep their gardens growing long after yours dies. If there's one thing I love about gardening, it's that there's always a way to stretch the season just a little more. And, few people do this better than the Amish. They've spent generations growing food without modern shortcuts, just soil sense, observation, resourcefulness, and a deep respect for nature's rhythms. And the truth is, many of their methods are shockingly effective and incredibly simple to adapt to any home garden. In today's Soil Power Guide, we're diving into 15 Amish gardening techniques that extend the growing season naturally, help you get harvest earlier, and keep your beds productive long after your neighbors have packed up for the year. These are practical, real, field-tested strategies you can start using right away, whether you're a beginner gardener or you've been growing for decades. Let's get into it. The Amish rely heavily on thick organic mulches, usually straw, hay, or shredded leaves, but they don't use a light dusting like many modern gardeners. They apply mulch deeply, often 6 to 12 inches. This creates natural insulation, slowing soil temperature fluctuations, preventing freeze-thaw cycles, and keeping microbial life active for weeks longer. In early spring, that same mulch absorbs sunlight, warms up fast, and helps beds wake up earlier. If you've ever wished your soil would thaw sooner, deep mulching is your best friend. A classic Amish cold frame isn't fancy, usually scrap wood and old windows, but don't underestimate this tool. Cold frames trap heat, block frost, and create a mini microclimate. The Amish use them to start hardy veggies weeks before the official growing season. You can do the same. Lettuce, radishes, kale, green onions, all grow beautifully in a cold frame while snow still sits on the ground. Hotbeds are, honestly, one of the oldest season extension secrets the Amish still rely on. These things are kinda like cold frames, but with one really big advantage: heat from decomposing manure. As the manure breaks down, it releases warmth that radiates upward, keeping seedlings protected through even some pretty harsh spring conditions. For the home gardener, horse manure works best. You just layer it, cover it with soil, place your cold frame on top, and, well, you've created a natural heating system, no electricity required. The Amish appreciate, the power of elevation. Raised beds warm earlier, drain better, and can be worked weeks before in-ground beds. This means faster planting, quicker germination, and an extended fall season because, well, raised soil cools more gradually when managed well. The Amish prefer simple lumber or even mounded earth, and the principle is the same. Give the soil a head start by raising it off cold ground. Wind steals heat from plants faster than frost, and the Amish know this. They often plant natural windbreaks, cornrows, hedges, fences, or even stacked firewood to shield vulnerable crops. In your garden, any barrier helps. A windbreak warms your microclimate by several degrees and dramatically reduces early spring plant stress. Think of it as putting a warm jacket over your food. Before planting, Amish gardeners sometimes spread dark compost or use blackened mulch to absorb sunlight and warm the soil. The darker the surface, the faster the soil heats. This simple trick gives you a jump start by letting you plant warm season crops earlier, especially corn, beans, and squash. You can even lay compost in beds about 2 weeks before planting just to bring that soil temperature up. Amish gardens are incredibly productive because honestly, no garden bed ever sits idle. They rotate planting in waves: early peas followed by beans, then fall carrots, spinach followed by cucumbers, then lettuce in late summer. By constantly replanting, they stretch the harvest from early spring to deep fall. The key is this: always know what goes into each bed after the current crop. The Amish prefer crop varieties that are resilient and slow to bolt, plants that can handle cold snaps or shorter days. Their seed choices alone extend their season. Think heirloom kale varieties, storage carrots, frost-resistant cabbage, and hardy collards. Choosing genetics that can handle your climate is, well, half the battle. One thing that really stands out in Amish gardens is just how alive the soil stays well into fall. This is because they compost deeply and honestly, constantly. Rich biologically active soil holds heat longer, breaks down organic matter faster, and supports plants later into the season. For home gardeners, this means more organic matter, always. Every season, your soil becomes its own heater and life support system. While not technically a garden method, root cellars are a huge part of how the Amish extend their growing season into winter. They store produce in cool, insulated underground spaces where carrots, potatoes, beets, cabbages, and apples stay fresh for months. If you don't have a cellar, a simple insulated box basement corner or even a buried container works surprisingly well. Extending your season isn't only about growing more, it's about keeping more. Amish gardeners, rely heavily on lightweight row covers. They don't wait for frost warnings, instead they use them proactively to push harvest deeper into fall and earlier into spring. Row covers stabilize temperature, block wind, keep frost at bay, and protect plants from cold rain that would normally stunt growth. Even a simple sheet or, heck, a thrift store curtain can make the difference. One thing I love about Amish gardening is how nothing is wasted, not even time. They'll plant garlic in fall, then interplant leafy greens above it in early spring. Once the greens finish, the garlic takes over. This double planting gives one bed 2 growing seasons simultaneously. It's a brilliant use of space and timing that any gardener can borrow. Before modern greenhouses were common, the Amish perfected simple hoop houses, bent pipe or willow branches, covered with plastic or fabric. These structures trap solar energy and protect crops from frost, wind, and heavy rain. Even a small hoop tunnel over a single bed can add 30 to 60 days to your season. You'll be surprised how warm it gets inside, even on a freezing morning. Amish gardeners are always thinking one season ahead. In late fall, when everyone else is closing their gardens, they're already prepping for spring. Beds are composted heavily, mulched deeply, and sometimes even shaped into rows or raised mounds. This early prep means that when spring arrives, all they need to do is move the mulch aside and plant. No waiting for soil to dry out, no mud, no delays, just immediate growing. A less obvious Amish technique is timing their harvests carefully to maintain plant productivity. For example, they harvest outer leaves of lettuces and kales instead of uprooting the whole plant. They pick beans daily to keep vines producing. They trim herbs lightly, but often to stimulate new growth. This practice doesn't just give more food, it naturally stretches the productive life of each plant, extending your season without any physical tools at all. What I love most about Amish gardening is how simple yet powerful it is. No fancy equipment, no chemicals, just soil, observation, timing, and consistency. These 15 techniques aren't outdated, they're timeless and incredibly effective for modern gardeners who want to grow longer, harvest more, and stay connected to the rhythms of nature. If you're inspired to extend your season and build deeper soil power in your own garden, then you're already halfway there. Start with just 2 or 3 of these techniques this year, then add more as you go. Before long, you'll be gardening like the Amish. Early springs, full summers, and long, productive falls. And if you enjoyed this guide, do one more thing for me.